Hello students, it's time for some amazing chronicles of history. Airways is the fastest mode of transport. Traders as well use flights to transport cargo promising quick delivery. DHL, FedEx have their own flights for business purposes. I mention them because trade and commerce is the basis of our chapter, Early Trade Activities. Trade has been as ancient as humankind. Ever since the beginning, since the ancient Greek civilization, ancient Roman civilization, ancient Indian civilization, trade activities have always been a part. Roman coins found in different countries, including India, provide us with that evidence of trade between the West and the East. Even as early as the Indus Valley civilization in India, information of trade between India and Mesopotamia has been recorded. In the Medieval Ages, the highways of commerce were the Mediterranean Sea and the Baltic Sea. In the northern Europe is the Baltic Sea, a highway of commerce and trade, and the important commercial cities of the medieval ages were Venice and Genoa. It is here that merchants from Europe and Asia would meet to exchange their goods. On this map, I have marked for you Venice and Genoa, G for Genoa, V for Venice. This map of Europe shows both the highways of commerce, the Baltic Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. The famed Silk Route is traced here, and a cycling expedition is planned along the Silk Route in 2021 from Beijing to Istanbul. Arab merchants used the Silk Route to carry out their trading activities with Far Eastern countries like China. Till the 15th century, traders made huge profits. European demand for Eastern goods made them rich. But why only till the 15th century? That's because Constantinople under Caliphate rule did not give access to traders to pass through their country. So a new trade route had to be found that would be safe, convenient, and not under the control of any country. This led to the age of geographical discoveries, whereby Asia, Africa, and America were found. Causes of geographical discoveries. Capture of Constantinople. The city of Constantinople was of strategic importance as it served as a link between Europe and Asia. Istanbul is in Europe, and the rest of Turkey across the Bosphorus River is in Asia. This is the Bosphorus Bridge as it stands today in Istanbul. In 1453, Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople, present-day Istanbul, and denied entry to European traders, so they had to find a new route. Limitations of land routes. Limitation of land routes was yet another cause for geographical discoveries. The journey by road would take months and was very exhausting. They would encounter bandits, dacoits, thieves along the way, so there was this risk of robbery. There were no lodges or hotels or Oyo rooms available, and so they had to find someone kind and generous to shelter them for the night. It was impossible to carry perishable goods such as oriental fruits and vegetables, as their journey would last for months. They had to pass through many kingdoms and had to get access to borders and land, and therefore had to pay tributes to rulers. Knowledge of wealth of Eastern countries. Europeans had the knowledge of the wealth of Eastern countries through the records of earlier traders or by witnessing profits earned by the traders. Marco Polo visited the kingdom of Kublai Khan in China in the 13th century, and this created a ripple effect. This is the path followed by Marco Polo to China and back to Venice. He returned with goods like Chinese silk, Indian cotton, precious stones, perfume, for which there was a great demand in Europe among the nobility, and this encouraged traders to find new routes or the sea routes. Growth of geographical knowledge was yet another factor because a number of books were published in the 15th century, the Geography by Ptolemy and a Merchant's Handbook by Florentine. Ptolemy drew a map. This is what the map of the world looked like at that point in time. Availability of geographical tools. The Mudinus compass, a Chinese invention, was now available and put to much use. In the 15th century, geographical maps were available, shipbuilding knowledge was there, and the astrolabe. This is how it was used by the sailors to find their location. Wow! Is cruising affordable to common man? Most of the sailors who have returned home tell me cruising costs a hell lot of money. Hence, explorers too needed patrons to sponsor their explorations, and they found the patronage of kings or monarchs. The kings were ready to invest in explorations as it brought them money and land. They would get more wealth and expand their empire. Desire to spread Christianity was another reason for explorations. Missionaries would sail along with traders to new lands to spread their religion. And so, because of all these developments in the 14th and 15th century, it was necessary to discover new trade routes that would be safe and convenient. Let's now look at the major discoveries. Well, all of you know Cristiano Ronaldo. He plays for Italian club Juventus. But before that, he played for Real Madrid, that is based in Spain. In the World Cup, he plays for his country, Portugal, and I'm looking at these two countries, Portugal and Spain, for they were at the forefront of geographical discoveries. Portugal had taken the lead. Their three main aims were God, glory, and gold. They were also blessed to have Prince Henry, who provided all the support to explorers by setting up a school for navigators, collecting services of map makers, ship designers, and did everything to help the expeditions. The first exploration undertaken was off the west coast of Africa, where many groups of islands were discovered. In 1488, Bartholomew Dias reached the southern tip of Africa, which he called the Cape of Storms, since he was caught up in a storm over there. Later, it was renamed as the Cape of Good Hope, since it provided hope to navigators, and Vasco da Gama used this route to come to India, and he landed at Calicut on 17th May 1498. He returned back to Portugal with spices and precious stones, which repaid 60 times the cost of the expedition. This marked the beginning of European trade with India. In Spain, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella supported expeditions and provided Christopher Columbus with 3 ships in 1492. On 12th October 1492, he landed at Bahamas, thinking it to be India. Columbus is, however, credited with the discovery of America. However, America has been named after explorer Amerigo Vespucci, who discovered the interior regions of America. Ferdinand Magellan was yet another great explorer who circumnavigated the earth to prove that the earth is round. Portuguese and Spanish successes inspired other countries to explore. England undertook voyages and set up their trading stations in Europe and Asia, and by the end of the 15th century, during Henry VII's rule, John Cabot landed on Cape Breton Island. France started exploring in the 16th century under the rule of King Francis I, and this began the North American conflict or the 7 Years' War. Effects of geographical discoveries. The discovery of Atlantic Ocean provided a new sea route to the east and became the chief highway of commerce. As a result, the Baltic and Mediterranean seas lost their importance, and London, Lisbon, and Amsterdam emerged as the new centers of commerce. Merchants depended on kings for their protection and provided them with finance to fight feudal nobles. This helped the monarchs to establish political supremacy. Superiority of the West over the East. A number of native cultures were replaced with Western cultures as the Europeans considered themselves superior to the natives of Asia and Africa and were determined to civilize the uncivilized. Political control was established over colonies in Newfoundland in Asia, Africa, and America. The colonies were exploited. The sea route gaining prominence for trade between the West and the East, navigation acts were passed to develop the shipping industry. The Columbian system of exchange was named after Columbus, according to which plants, animals, and ideas of Europe and the New World were exchanged with one another. This was a new beginning in world history as people from different countries interacted with one another. This led to the emergence of the modern world. Thank you very much.